Hello everyone, I am your educator Priyanka. My qualification is I am MSc, B.Ed and CSIR NET. Here I am going to discuss a very important topic of biology, that is pollination in plants. Why pollination is important in plants? Why you should study this? Because pollination is the process by which male and female gametes will come close together and fertilize each other. So pollination is very important for the fertilization. In plants are immobile, they are not moving. So it's very important how their male and female gametes will come together. So that's why pollination is very important in plants. If it is not going to happen, then there will be no seed formation and no further reproduction in plants. It is very important process for their survival or their reproduction. So let's study the pollination in plants. Transfer of pollen from anther to the stigma is called pollination. It can be in the same flower. It means that the pollen from the anther of flower can land to the stigma of same flower, or it can transfer to the stigma of another flower of the same species. It is called as pollination. What are methods of pollination? How this result is going to happen, how the anther and how the pollen grains from anther is going to reach to the stigma of the same flower or another flower. It is called as method of pollination. In nature, there are two methods are going to happen in majority or most of the plants. First is abiotic. It is happen in only 20% of plants, and second is biotic. It happens in majority of the plants, and you can call it the most prevalent or most found method of the pollination, that is biotic. What is abiotic and biotic? What is the difference between them? Abiotic pollination means without help of any organism. It means that in the process of pollination there is not involvement of any organism. It will happen by either wind or water. That is why it is called as abiotic pollination. If it will happen by wind, with the help of wind, it is called as anemophily. Anemo means wind, and it will be happen with the help of water. It will be called as hydrophily. So it is two types. Abiotic pollination is happen with the help of either water or wind. If will happen with wind, it will called as anemophily. When it will be happen by water, it is called as hydrophily. By wind, anemophily. Here we are going to discuss the anemophily method of pollination in detail. It is very important type of pollination. It is a form of pollination in which pollen is transferred by wind. Some most common examples are gymnosperms. Do you know what is gymnosperms? Gymnosperm, you have heard the name algae, fungi, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms. The flowering plants which we see around in our nature, where flowers are prominent, that is called angiosperms. Flowering plants are angiosperms, but gymnosperms are also the distinct category of plants in which the wind pollination is most important. So wind pollination is going to happen in gymnosperms. Grasses means, when you go to garden you find the simple doob, that is called grass. And other poets here, poets means family Poaceae. What are the species found in family Poaceae? Wheat, rice, all the cereals and grains which we eat are the members of the family Poaceae. That's why Poaceae is written here. Oak. Rice, corn, wheat, rye, barley and oats are most common wind pollinated plants. So wind pollination is very important for the economy also, for the grain production, because we use rice, wheat, corn in our daily meals. So it's very important. What are important characters of wind pollinated plants? You can see where the wind pollination is occurring in those plants. You will find some important characters in those plants. Where water pollination is going to happen, that plants will have some other characteristics which is suitable for the water pollination. But where the wind pollination is major method, they will have some characters, some important points that will make them suitable for wind pollination. And what are those characters which make them suitable for wind pollination? That is lack of showy floral parts. You can observe it in nature or in surrounding, or if you are living in a rural area, you can go to grass fields, you can go to rice fields, wheat fields, and you can see that their flowers are not very showy, they are not very prominent, they are very small. It is very rare that you can observe the flowers of rice, wheat. Lack of scent production, and flowers don't have scent, they are not scenty, they don't produce odor or scent. Small flower, they are very inconspicuous and small because they don't have any purpose. Why they will have the showy, big, colorful, scented flowers? They don't have to attract anyone. They only have to pollinated by wind, and wind is everywhere, so they don't have to attract any major pollinator. That's why they have lack of small floral parts, lack of scent, or they don't have scent. Less amount of nectar. Nectar is also very important thing, but it's not found in wind pollinated plants because no one is coming to have its nectar, so they don't have nectar or very less amount of nectar. Large number of pollen grains which are smooth, light and non-sticky. See, in the wind pollinated plants, pollen grains should be large in amount. If they are not large in amount and wind is going in any direction, and if the pollination is not happening in any region, then what will happen? The reproduction will not be completed and further generation will not come. The new progeny will not come. That's why they should be in large amount, very large amount. Otherwise it may happen that sometime wind is not flowing in a particular direction and all the pollens are going in west. That's why they should be in very large amount. And light, if they will be heavy, there may be chances that they will not go very far from where it is going to the wind. They will not go far to the other plants and stigmas of the other plants of same species. Then the chances of pollinations are very less. And non-sticky, and if they will be sticky, they will stick any surfaces by the wind and they will not go too far further from their site of origin. That's why they should be smooth, light and non-sticky. Anemophilous plants have lengthy, well exposed stamens. This is also very important. Lengthy, their stamens should be lengthy. The stamens should be grow out from the flowers, so when wind will come, they will come out from the flower and blow with the wind current. That's why they should be lengthy, well exposed. It means they come out from the flower so they can go through the wind. See, you can see two examples given here of the wind pollinated plants. Here you can see The stamens are so exposed, and they are coming from the flower. They can easily come by the wind, and they can reach to the stigma. And in this picture, you can see there it is a corn plant. All of you have seen the corn plants in field. You can see the crown like structure on the top of the plant, which is showing here. And you can see the major one part of the corn. In corn, you can see the hair like structure coming out from the one corn cob. That is the styles or stigma and styles of the female flower, which come out from the cob of corn. And in here it is stamen, and here in the second drawing it's a silk stigma and style. In the corn plant, female inflorescence is also given, which is called cob, and male inflorescence is given tassel. They are present top of the plant, and they are well exposed in the air, so they can easily be available for wind pollination. The other form of abiotic method of pollination is hydrophily. What is hydro means? All of you know hydro means water, and it is found mostly in monocots. What is monocots? Flowering plants, our angiosperms, are divided broadly into two types of category of plants: monocots and dicots, on the basis of their cotyledons. So hydrophily is mostly found in monocots. For example, Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Hydrophily is found in aquatic plants, of course. So Vallisneria and Hydrilla are aquatic plants. They are going to found in Vallisneria and Hydrilla. But not all the aquatic plants are hydrophilous in nature. Some of the aquatic plants use other methods of pollination also in the water. Important characters of water pollinated plants are their pollen grains are long and ribbon like. Why they are long and ribbon like? So they can flow easily with water current. If they will not be long, they can drown to the ground. So they should be light and long, so they can easily flow by water current. Pollen grains are protected from water by mucilage covering. Mucilage covering is very important, otherwise they will become wet and they will become heavy and they will come to the ground. They will not be available for pollination. So they should be ribbon like, and they should have mucilage covering. Inside the water pollinated plants or hydrophily, there is two major categories. One is submerged categories, in which the pollination is going to occur inside the water, not on the water surface. In these plants, pollen grains are heavier than water. Sinking down, they caught by the stigma of female flower, for example, Nazas and Posidonia. Water hyacinth and water lily are insect and wind pollinated. They are exception. In submerged pollinated plants, their pollination is going to happen inside the water. So what happen? When pollen grains come out from the plant, they become heavier and they start sinking down. And when they come to the ground, when they are sinking down in the water, they come in the contact with the female flowering part or stigma, and they pollinated the plant. And example in Nazas and Posidonia. Water hyacinth and water lily are insect and wind pollinated. They are not water pollinated. They are exception. So always remember water hyacinth and water lily, although they are aquatic plants, but they are not hydrophilous. They are wind pollinated or insect pollinated. Here, Vallisneria, Hydrilla, Zosteria and Elodia. These are surface pollinated water plants. In these aquatic plants, pollination is going to happen on the surface of the water. They are not happening like previous plants inside the water. They are going to happen on the surface of water. You can see here the stamens of Vallisneria is floating on the surface of water and coming through the water current to the female part of the flower, of the flower, and they are going to pollinate the stigma or female flower. The major important characteristics of the water pollinated plants are they are not colorful and they don't produce nectar. There is no use of color because they are water pollinated. Hydrophily occurs in two ways. One is surface pollination, which is going to happen here, and the examples are Hydrilla, Vallisneria, Zosteria, and Elodia. And previous one was submerged pollination, which I already explained to you. In these plants, pollen floats on the surface of water and reaches the stigma of the female flowers, for example, Hydrilla, Vallisneria, Zostera, and Elodia. So, for today, this was my topic, the pollination, and in the pollination, the today's topic was abiotic pollination. In which abiotic pollination I have covered wind pollination, anemophily, and water pollination, hydrophily. In my next video, I am going to discuss the biotic method of pollination, and after that, I will discuss the types of pollination. So we will cover all the topics related to pollination in my next video. So do like my channel and subscribe, and so we will meet in my next video. Thank you.